2019 MVP Lamar Jackson had his first press conference of training camp on Wednesday, and a reporter asked him about an offseason where he ran into a jet ski and practiced with Antonio Brown. Here's Lamar Jackson.
I did not run into a jet ski. I jumped over the jet ski, fell in the water. It was nice throwing to Antonio Brown. I was hoping we would get him. Still hoping a little bit. Around us, he was a great guy. You know, you don't really see anything going on at all. You know, he cool down to earth guy. You know, and he's passionate about the sport of football. Like when he was working, you can tell like this man he gonna go like 24/7. And after the workout, he still went and lifted. Like he already prior to the workout, he lifted. We go out there and go to throwing routes. After that, them guys went and lifted some more. I'm like, dang, this guy there's no quitting with him. So it's like that's the type of guy we need in our locker room. And I feel like the locker room here is different from any other locker room. Like it's a brotherhood going on. It's none of that outside noise. You know, it's strictly inside. Like we worry about each other. We worry about what we have going on. We want to win. And I can tell in him he want to win.
You know, it's funny to hear Lamar Jackson say there's no quit with Antonio Brown, given that he's quit and unquit football like 4 or 5 times over the course of the last year. But I still don't blame him, because the frustration comes from the fact that the NFL has left him dangling for all these months as 3 different investigations continue. No sign of an investigation resulting in a decision or a suspension. Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times suggested that Antonio Brown could get word this week on a suspension. And he's going to get at least one suspension because he pleaded no contest to felony charges arising from an altercation with the driver of a moving truck earlier this year, Chris. But he's got other issues. And if the NFL comes to the conclusion that the woman who's accused him in a civil lawsuit of sexual assault and rape, if they conclude he did it, I don't think he ever plays again.
No way.
But these are all things that have been hanging around for way too long. It's time for a decision to be made. So Antonio Brown knows how much time he's going to miss, and so that teams like the Ravens, the Seahawks, or whoever can make their plans about whether or not they want to do business with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, you're right. They need to figure that out. Second thing I would go is Antonio Brown. Hey, he workhorse. That's all I've ever heard about him. You know, Raiders, Steelers, for years I was hearing it from the Steelers. I mean, he gets after it. And, of course, he's got great charisma. He's a cool dude. I mean, come on, he's freaking Antonio Brown. So a lot of the times, yeah, he's cool in the locker room and all that. The problem is when he leaves the team or gets away from the locker room, that's when issues seem to happen. Or maybe he doesn't come back on time after he leaves the locker room, whatever that may be. So that's risky. Now, Baltimore, team that can handle it. You know, Seattle, who we've hearing about, they can handle it. I worry about this a little in Baltimore, okay? You know, he plays for the Baltimore Ravens, and yeah, everything's cool, but when Lamar Jackson tucks the ball for the 15th time of the game to run, how cool is Antonio Brown going to be playing cool, you know, being in that offense going, damn, can we throw the ball? Mark Ingram, Lamar Jackson, you know, Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, so that would scare me a little bit. I don't know if Baltimore needs to mess with that at this point with their young weapons they have on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Chris, because Antonio Brown's going to have one attitude that he projects to the world as he's trying to get back in. Once he's back in, it all potentially could change. Your priorities change. Your objectives change. For now, his objective is, I need to get back in the NFL. I need to get back in the NFL. I need to get back in the NFL. Once he's on the Ravens, his objective is, I need the football in my hands. I need the football in my hands. I need the football in my hands. And remember, but we've talked about this before. There's an awkward quality here if you're the Ravens, because you've got his cousin, Marquise Hollywood Brown, on the team. And if it doesn't go well for Antonio Brown with the Ravens, if it all falls apart, if they have to move on from him, does he poison his cousin's mind against the Ravens?
That would scare me too.
And I almost feel like there's this kind of awkward arm's length, like we want him to feel like we want him, but we don't really want him, but we can't tell him we don't really want him, because if we do that, like kind of like, let's just hope the Seahawks, can somebody else sign?
Yeah, somebody else do it.
We don't have to be in this awkward spot with Antonio Brown, because we don't want to piss this guy off, and then he's going to do everything he can to make his cousin not like us and maybe not want to be part of the team long term. I think that's real. That's, again, it's human nature. And Lamar Jackson has high hopes for Marquise Brown this year. He's healthy, and we know how fast he is, and we know what he can do. We saw it week 1 against the Dolphins when they decided to sell out against stopping the run, and they let guys run free all day long. Hollywood Brown, I think, for the future of this team, far more important than the mere limited slim prospect of Antonio Brown joining the team.
Agreed. And there's some, the thing, Seattle's different to me. You got Russell Wilson. There's some older guys that have been there, maybe some more veteran leadership. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base here, but in Baltimore, I just feel like there might be a little more young and impressionable to what you're saying. I mean, just some of the names we've just, mentioned off. Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews at tight end. It's only year 3 for him. Of course, Lamar, J.K. Dobbins coming into town. The receiver they got, from the Texas in the 3rd round. So those guys, they could be affected for the rest of their career by a guy like Antonio Brown if he doesn't come in and do things exactly the right way. And that would scare me if I'm Baltimore, because you have a team that's got incredible chemistry already and is incredibly talented, and you've really built something. And, yeah, Antonio Brown might make you great, like unbelievably great, but he also might disrupt your team and make it dysfunctional, and all of a sudden you could be sitting there going, how the hell are we 6-6 in week 13 here? What the hell happened to us? Well, and that would scare me, and that's probably why I wouldn't mess with it if I'm Baltimore.
All right, we're going to shift from the AFC North to the NFC North when we return. State of the franchise continues with a team that has a wide-open quarterback competition. We'll talk Chicago Bears next.
Go Bears.
On PFT Live.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.